Alright friends, today I'm gonna, on my 2015 Jeep Wrangler 4-door, I'm gonna take the top off and put the soft top. When I bought this, it came with a hard top and a soft top. In order to get the soft top out, I had to take the hard top off, put the soft top in storage because it was in the way when you open the back doors. But now I'm gonna take the hard top off, put the soft top back on. One of the things you're gonna need is the Jeep provided toolkit. It has got the T40 Torx. It's got some Torx bits in it and some tools that you're going to need. Some of this is used to take the doors and stuff off, and some of it's used to take the bolts out of the top. So I'm going to get started. We're going to make this thing happen. One of the first things I'm going to do is going to take these, I think they call these things freedom tops if I remember right. So we're going to pull the freedom tops off, and I'll show you how to do that. So in order to get the freedom tops off, you've got these. You have to unscrew these and take these out. And there's one on each side. There's one for each top. And these bolts are pretty long. You can see they're that long, so we're going to pull those out. We'll take them out of both sides. Go ahead and get that out of the way. And then last but not least, you have to, and don't put them upright like that on your seats. Don't lay them down because somebody could sit on them and poke them in the seats. In fact, I probably wouldn't even put them on the seats. It was a bad idea for me to even put that on the seats. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick it in the cup holder like that and like that. That way it can't poke in anything. What do you think about that? So take your window shade, your sun visor. Couldn't think of what they called that. Unlock that. Unlock this. Unlock this. And while you're here, go ahead and do the other side. So they're all unlocked and ready to come off. Now we'll show you how they come off. And there's actually a, I'm gonna go back around to the back. There's actually a case that they go in. So I'm going to pull the case out and we're going to load them in the case. And if you look at your case, you'll see that the case is actually shaped. In fact, I'm going to do it this way because I want to put the top, you can see it's got a cut in it. And if you look at these tops, they have a cut in them right here. So you want this top to be, I want them to be back to back. So I want that top to be, when I flip it, it's going to be on the bottom with the shiny side down. The other one will be on the top with the shiny side up. Then I can zip it up and store it. So what I do is just grab here, grab inside, and push up and lift. And I actually use my head like this to just sit it on there until I can get it. So this is not real easy to do, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put this end in first. And there's actually a separator in here. If you look inside the bag, you'll find that there's a piece that goes between the two tops. The other thing is push this down like that before you stick it in the bag, which is the latch for the front part by the visors. And I am by myself today, so I'm going to do this, even pull the top off by myself. If you're careful, you can do it. And remember, flip that latch down first. Whew, these bad boys are hot. It's sunny today, so they're a little bit warm. I always feel funny about these things because I feel like I'm going to scratch them or hurt them somehow. They seem to be pretty tough. I definitely don't want to knock the paint off of them, and they're not really heavy, just a little awkward, that's all. It's a little harder to get them in there than you want it to be. Whew. There she goes. And what was happening there was that latch was grabbing on the center part, the separator between the two. Still, there she goes. Now we're cooking with bacon, ladies and gents. So you can bag them up just like that. And you would actually bag them like this if you were just taking the tops off and storing them in the back of the truck. That's how you would do that as well. So that's how you take your Freedom tops off, and you just reverse that to put them back on. So on the hard top, you'll see that you've got this bolt. There's one on the other side, and then inside here you've got a bolt there, a bolt there, a bolt there. They're all Torx head. You've got if you have rear wipers, you've got this hose right here, and you've got this electrical connection. There it is. So I think in that, if it's pushed through, it's tight, you push it out right there, it actually releases, and what you do is push the front of it. And then for here, you just pinch that. It's a pinch connector. You can see it's actually oval shaped. You just pinch the wide sides of it and it unhooks. And there's a check valve here to keep the water from flooding back here. And you just tip those over to the side. In your toolkit, if you still have it, is a T40 Torx and an actual ratchet. And so what I'm going to do is I found that you can actually just loosen them and then get them out the rest of the way with your fingers. A boom. Very easy to take out. And as I mentioned, there's 6 back here. There's 3 on each side, and then there's 1 in the front on both sides. You reuse these holes when you're putting the other parts for the other top back on with a different screw than this screw, a different bolt. And if you notice, this bolt, the length of it is exactly the same as the length of the other bolts. So don't worry about getting them mixed up. Now keep in mind, I don't recommend you do what I'm getting ready to do right here. I'm going to pull this top off by myself because I don't have anybody else here to help me with this on a Saturday. So I don't recommend you doing this. If you've got a friend to do it with, of course use your friend. I have pulled this off by myself before. It ain't pretty, but the real weight is this glass. So if you kind of break it loose, you can see that it's still heavy. But you know, I lift hot tubs for a living, so there you go. It ain't that heavy. So what I'm going to do is try to balance it as I pull it off. And the real problem is this tire over here. So I've got the top off. And as I mentioned, I don't recommend doing what I did, but sometimes you got to do what you do. Close this window, just in case. But you can see one man can handle it. Ugh. So this is what it looks like with that top off. The soft top actually mounts to these brackets. Now mine came with it because mine came with the top, but they bolt on from the front. So if you're adding yours, the bolts are on the front side right there, and there's a little split in it right there. And I actually don't have the rest of the pieces to my top here. So I'm going to put the top on, leave it down, go to my house where the rest of the pieces are and finish this. So there's 4 screws that hold the soft top on to this bracket right here, and there's also in your kit will be a 10mm socket that comes with the kit. So we're going to install it now. Let me show you one more thing. If you look at the brackets, they have a lock. They have a little slot right there. You see that slot? What happens in that slot is the convertible top, which I have right over here, has a little T on it right here. You see this little T? This T locks into that slot. That way you can lock it in, put your 2 screws in. It's very simple to do. So we're going to set it up and do it right now. Just let it slide down there. And then I put the T on each side. I'll lock it in. Just like that right there. And then you've got your 4 10mm screws. There's a tab that sticks out that aligns these screw holes. So there's a tab that sticks out in here, and there's a teardrop, and it actually aligns it to the front of the teardrop. And so you want to make sure that the tab is in the top of the teardrop so it's in the right spot. Love convertibles. I actually got rid of a Jaguar XK8 when I bought the Jeep. That was my convertible, but the Jeep is a very versatile vehicle and a lot of fun, and it's a convertible and a truck and all kinds of other stuff, plus you can carry people in it. The Jaguar had 4 seats in it, but the 2 back seats basically children could fit in, and that's pretty much it. So this is all I can do at this moment here until I go and get the kits that are at home. So come on, go with me. So I'm at my house where I have the rest of my stuff now, and you can see that this top came with this protective cover on it, and it has some cautions. It says to be removed by customer, one of these tops must be removed, refer to dual top section in the owner's manual. And it says that's basically what it says. One of these tops must be removed. So basically it's telling you that you can't have this top and the hard top on at the same time. You got to choose one, which I took the hard top off the same way that I just showed you that I got to this one, and stored this until I was ready. Now it also came with these 2 boxes. So one of the boxes I can see has the 2 back windows in it. I'm going to open the other box. Let's see what's in it. I think that's the serial number for my Jeep is what it's got in there. And it says clearly right there, no knives, but I'm not going to cut down in there. So what this is the tracks that go on the side of the truck to make the rest of the frame, if you will. It's like it just pivots. So this frame is going to go right here, and you actually put that into that hole that's right there. And then the front of it, this snaps in to the blank spot right there on the bar, and then this goes where the hole was with the previous top. So let me show you what that looks like on this side and then on the other side. So if you see, you got the front goes here. Now there'll be another piece from here to there. This is the latch part for the top, and this part just snaps onto that. There's actually a blank space right here, and then this fits in here and is going to be held on. I don't see any place to put a screw in that, so I'm assuming that it just stays there. So if you come over here, you'll see there's a hole. It lines up with that hole, and it lines up with this hole, and then it will line up there. So I think that there'll be a bolt here, and there'll be some kind of bolt maybe through the top of the roll bar. We'll see. So here's the other piece that goes, and what that's going to do is snap into the where the top goes as well. And I don't know which one is left and right. This one says right hand, so it's going to be this side. So you see it's got this bolt here, and basically you're going to snap it on your roll bar, and then that sticks through the roll bar and screws in. So you see that there is in fact a hole right there through the roll bar. So what's going to happen is the bottom part's going to stick up in there, and then you have the pin that goes through. So let's see if we can make this happen. So yep, this is going to go here where you put a pin through there. Then this tucks up under there, on top of there, and you take a long bolt now you want to set it on top of here so it seals here, and then you just put that, stick that through, and it tightens up. You see that that's screwed in, and I've locked that into that spot, so all that looks good. So now I'm going to go right here. Alright, so I'm going to line these things up, and there's already a hole here from where I took the bolt out that held the front of the top on. If you remember, one of the T40s So you just line it up and put this little thumb screw type deal in here. You can see it goes just like that. And that locks into there. I think this is fairly simple. You just have to know the steps. Once you know the steps, you can get it together. And there is a clear spot on the trim for both of these devices, but you know what? I'm going to loosen this again. So here's a lesson. You can start the middle one, but don't tighten it up until you have this one in place, because you can see that it was a little bit back. Now it'll go through. So now I can start this one, snug it, and snug this one back, the middle one. So you can see on each side there's a long, which is the front, is the A pillar and the C pillar. The short one is the B pillar. So I'll show you again. This is a completed side. And you remember I used a pin that goes here. This one holds that one in, the pin. Then your B pillar is the short one right here. This is the B pillar. This is the A pillar. So it's A, B, C, and then if the hardtop is here, D right here. But these are actually, there's really only two pillars, factory pillars. And then you have this, but I would still call this the C pillar. So I'm going to do the other side. Alright, so we're going to do the other side. And you see this thing's got a hinge here. You see this thing's got a little hinge right there, and it just bends just like that. The other one was stuck for some reason, so I'm going to line this up. I'm going to put this in the little pin back here. Snap it in there. Sit it on top right there. Gotta move. Let me show you this. When I put my straps in that came in the glove box right here, I put them over that spot, so you've got to move that back, because that's the spot where this part right here goes. You slip this in, push it down under there like that, so you kind of lock it in there, and then you can push it up under and then pull this back into place here. And the other thing is to move the material so it's not catching on the top or the bottom like it appears to be catching right there. So I'm going to move that over the top like that. There we go. So that is properly installed on both sides. So let's look. Let you look at how the moldings look. You see that's up under. It's over the top of that. This is pinched in between. This is in place. And it's easy to do. Don't let me make you feel like it's not. You see where that is. I call them thumb screws. But they're really not that. And then that's locked in. And of course it's on top of that. It's on top of that right there. So that part's done. So it says on here no knives, but I've got to have a knife to cut the tape open. I think the box just opens from the top. It does. It's just a lid. So you can do like that. And just open it just like that right there. And there's actually directions inside here for how to fold down the soft top and instructions for how to put them up. So I'm going to walk through these instructions. It's telling you when you put it down how to get it down, how to keep it down. There's these brackets right here, and I know that these brackets snap on the left hand side and the right hand side, but I'm going to go ahead and put the top up first. And these brackets are what holds the sides. These are what holds here and here. The actual top will snap in a little spot here, and then the glass goes on the sides. So I'm going to work on it. So if you look, there's actually little hooks. They've got that on there. They've got that, which broke loose really easy. And they've got, this is kind of a cover. So I'm not sure how this comes out of there. Oh, I see, it snaps. So there's a snap there. And then I think you can slip, yes, this can be slid to one side and pulled out without destroying the cover. So I'm going to do that. Take this out. There's a snap there. There's a snap here. There's a snap here. There we go. And there's a snap here. It looks like there's 5 snaps to hold the top together. We won't unveil it. There we go. So I was trying to flip it, but I hadn't undone these, and what it says is the strap must be unhooked from the bracket before trying to raise the soft top. Do not cut it. And what it's showing us is there's a little loop here that it hooks to. So what I've got to do is unhook it from the loop right there and just slide it. And I can figure out how to lock it in once we flip the top up. You see that? There's a little hook right there that it was hooked on. Now I bet you the top will raise. And it was actually on both sides like that. Yeah, look there. Now that's a lot easier than what I was doing. Oh, I see. This has got to go up like that. Yeah, look at you. And it locks in. This part, this is made onto this. There's actually a little slide part that it locks in right there. And you see, that one has not locked yet. The little lock's right there. So what I'm going to do is try to push it forward until it locks. I think that did it. So if you were going to release it, you would simply undo it like that and it will go back. You see how that undoes? So I'm going to slip it back forward. There we go. Yep, it locks in that little thing there. And then you push this down like that. So what you do is do that and spread it out. There we go. And so that locks that. So boom. Now this sun visor. So the front part of the cover is done. You see it's locked into here. It's locked into there. It's locked across the top of the windshield. Is there's a little snap right there. You just slide it up in there and snap it. There, you see it. So what I'm going to do is take that and turn it upside down and just snap that right there. There, just like that, so it's out of the way. Now everything else is in place. We've just got to pull this down, and there's supposed to be tension on it so it holds it tight. There we go. That's under. It's completely under. And what I'm doing is there's a lip right there. And I'm locking it on the lip. This one is locked in. And you see there's a lip right there that it's under. Right here. Now here is the lip. And that's what I'm locking it under right there. Okay, there's one. There we go. And you see it locks in. You can actually kind of slide it and put it in the right spot. So what I think the right spot is you leave a little room. You go right to the edge of that. This one says right, which is going to be the passenger side. This one says left hand. And so it's going to go like that. Actually, I think the other way. You go from the back forward. Yep, boom. And then you do the same thing here. Boom. And what that does is gives you a spot for this, which is the seal under your back glass for your door. So I'm going to show you what the zipper looks like. It is up in there. That's the starting point. And then you have, oh, I see what it is. You need to keep both of them on the same side because that is how you start it. It's got a long one on the left-hand side and the dead end on this side, so that's why I was having problems. So I'm gonna get it started. You see, I've got it in, and this actually locks under there. You can pull that out, put your zipper in, and then there's a Velcro piece that once you get the thing zipped down, you can. It's got a little thing on it. You can actually pull it down in there and push that in. But what I want to address is this. I think I have to slide that onto the glass, or it's not really glass, it's really plastic, but I think I actually have to slip it onto it, and so I'm going to work on that. Now what I did is I went ahead and zipped it first to get it in place. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to see, because it has this little piece, but I don't know how else you would put this on other than slipping it in like that. There you go. So you actually slip this onto the bottom of this piece, then it actually slips in like that. It slips into the place that I showed you before, and then you can zip these down, push them in like that, and then put your Velcro in. So the first thing I'm going to do is open the door. Second, I'm going to go ahead and get my zipper started, which is going to be right here at the top, as I mentioned. So you slip that in there just like you're putting on a pair of jeans. Doing like that to get that started. So next, I would start down here, snap this bottom in. And then you snap this in the front. And it all lines itself up as you get it in. This is a little bit tougher at the top to get it around this corner, but once you get it around the corner, it'll snap in. There we go. I had just put a little pressure on it. You want it to be all the way around. So now, you finish the zipping. Remember, I had a little bit of tightness right here. Corner, but if you can get it around that turn, she'll go. There we go. So now, Velcro, lift this up, Velcro under. Just like that right there. That one, I'm going to turn that one up like I showed you before. That's Velcro in, Velcro under, Velcro under. That needs to be locked in. If you've got that seam like that, you're in good shape. Under, and then that locked under that lip. So that is a completely installed top. Something else I want to show you is if you go back here, remember the screws that we took out of the top actually fit right here. And you also have, this will actually come out. And you can take these screws, these big ones that came out of the what they call the freedom top. I've been sticking those up under there, and just pop this back in. That way none of that gets away. And if you were pulling the door hinge screws out, you put those right there, and then that sticks back through. You can lock that down, and it's all right there. And you can also save this little pouch. I keep this in the front, but you could just as well put it in the back. And now that you've got this locked in like that, where it's zipped and everything like it's supposed to be when you shut the door, the door shuts nicely like that. You see that? I want to give some additional instruction of how to open this sunrider top. They call it a sunrider top. So what you do is, as we've shown you before, you open your sun visors and you release the top on both sides. You can't release these latches unless you open the sun visors up completely. So I'm going to do that. Now, the hard part is if you're by yourself like I am, when you start lifting this, they want you to tuck the top. And I found if you don't do this, that it will get pinched for one thing. But what they want you to do is pull this back, pull that back, and make a double loop like that. So if you're by yourself, you just have to go to each side and do that because it will get pinched. You see right there. So you do that and you do this, you just pull them back. And the reason you want to make sure you pull them back like that is because the wind, I noticed, was getting caught in them. And the other thing you do is that in your package they send you these. They're little double Velcro loops. And so what you do is you place this around the sunrider frame and Velcro it. And it keeps the frame down. Because what you wouldn't want to happen is you have a wreck and that thing slings forward and you have your hand sticking out or something of that nature. And to close it, all you would do is just simply undo your Velcro strips, release it, and drop it. And you can see it'll actually hover. And you can just push it and it'll snap into place. And then you get in and hook the hooks. I love my Jeep. So that is a properly opened sunrider top. And if you look right here, I've got this locked with the straps that came in the package, and I've got that a double loop. So there's a loop there and a loop there, and it keeps it from getting pinched up in there. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.